Alright, let's discuss the inspirations behind Blood of the Kami. Many different stories inspired Blood of the Kami, either directly or indirectly in different formats too, like books, games, shows, and etc. etc. And I will describe some of those inspirations in the next 3 videos. But to make it short, usually I describe Blood of the Kami as The Witcher meets Spirited Away. And I think those two stories condense pretty well what it is Blood of the Kami, but it's way more than this, and it's not exactly this either. So, in this video, the first one of those 3 videos, let's see what manga and anime inspired Blood of the Kami. The very first anime I have to name here is Demon Slayer, otherwise known as Kimetsu no Yaiba. And I think it's very easy to see why this anime inspired Blood of the Kami. Well, first of all, this anime is absolutely amazing. Visually speaking, it's one of the best thing ever made. And Demon Slayer is basically the story of a secret organization who fights demons in, I think it's like late 19th century Japan. So it's very close. If you just take this part of the story, it feels a lot like Blood of the Kami, which is the story of a secret organization who fights corrupted souls in, well, medieval Japan. So now there are key differences here. For example, Demon Slayer, the organization that fights the demons, literally fights them with swords, and that's it. You know, it's a bunch of swordsmen fighting demons. Blood of the Kami, the secret organization, the Yaseki, as we will see in another video, fights in different ways, and usually they don't exactly fight at all, but they will intervene in many different ways to keep Japan safe from yokai, from and other creatures as well. But yeah, Demon Slayer was definitely a big inspiration behind Blood of the Kami, and truly one of the best anime of the past 10-15 years at least. Naruto would be a second fairly big inspiration behind Blood of the Kami, but really here I can only pick small details from Naruto that you can also find in Blood of the Kami. So for example, you have the invocation. So the main character of Blood of the Kami, Ren Fudo, can invoke through his power a guardian lion dog, or he has a connection with lion dogs, so also known as Komainu, and he can invoke them by using his blood. So it feels really close to the way invocations work in Naruto, and I'm not sure I decided exactly to go like, hey, I'm gonna do like Naruto, but it probably had a lot of influence over this decision of Ren Fudo being able to basically summon his guardian. Now, I'm sure Naruto also influenced maybe the sense of humor, the relationship, especially relationships between like a mentor and mentee kind of thingies. But in general, yeah, I think it's more like this power to summon and invoke like spiritual creatures from other plants that came from this manga / anime. Now, 2 animes that really inspired Blood of the Kami one way or another, especially when it comes to yokai, and not just yokai, but anything related to Japanese folklore and mythology, would be Natsume Yujinsho and Holic, that I think in the past we used to call Crossholic. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be pronounced, but now those 2 animes, I think I watched like the first season of Natsume Yujinsho, maybe a bit more, and I definitely watched all the Holics and read them as well, are centered around the ideas of yokai or spirits, and well, the stories are very different, but the feelings is fairly similar, in the sense that you get like a main hero who is being shoved into a world of yokai, a world that he didn't really know about to begin with, and he has to learn everything about yokai, how to interact with them, how to stop them sometimes, and all of this. Now, Len Fudo, the main character in Blood of the Kami, is a bit the same. He has been thrown into that world unknowingly and unwillingly, definitely, and he had to learn how to, well, fight yokai, because in the Blood of the Kami, in the world of Blood of the Kami, yokai are definitely not friendly. Most of them, at least, are not friendly, and they are only to be fought and not to befriend, at least for now. Of course, beside this idea of main characters being shoved into a world he didn't know about, all the folklore, all the lore about yokai that you can find in Natsume Yujincho and Holic really gave me this love for those creatures and for those Japanese tales. And while all of those anime I mentioned so far, you know, besides Demon Slayer, which is something I watched fairly recently, all the others are animes I watched maybe 10-15 years ago at least, and since then I haven't watched or read that many manga and anime, but I'm guessing that's why they inspired me so much, is because they come from way before I started writing, and they created in big part the writer I am today. So those 4 animes I mentioned so far gave me a lot of inspiration. But of course, the major part of the inspiration, and this one is more direct, for Blood of the Kami would come from Ghibli Studio. Now, I'm sure most of you are familiar with Ghibli Studio being this amazing studio creating fantastic anime and a very Japanese-oriented anime, so you can feel all the Japanese culture into those anime. Most of them, some of them are a bit outside of this, but many of them are well set into Japanese folklore, Japanese mythology, and so on. So I mentioned earlier Spirited Away, which is obviously one of the most famous movies from Ghibli Studio. And in this anime, again, a young girl is being sent into the world of the yokai and other creatures. So maybe that inspired me a little bit, but I think more than Spirited Away, 2 other movies really had an impact on Blood of the Kami. The first one would be Pompoko. So Pompoko is definitely one of my favorite Ghibli movies. It is hilarious in many ways, and this is the story of tanuki, so Japanese raccoon dogs, trying to survive the arrival of humans in their world, of the arrival of modern constructions and so on. And it is an amazing analysis of modern Japanese society through the lives of those tanuki. And I love this movie. I haven't watched it in a very long time, but I learned a lot about Japan watching Pompoko, and this connection between the past and modern society, and obviously about tanuki. In Blood of the Kami, there is a chapter with a few tanuki characters, and this is probably my favorite chapter in all the book. So if you enjoyed Pompoko, if you like this movie, you will find something in Blood of the Kami to love as well. And the second one, and I really think that might be the biggest influence on Blood of the Kami, would be Princess Mononoke. So Mononoke Hime. And this anime from Ghibli is quite different from the rest in the sense that it's pretty bloody. It's quite brutal compared to other Ghibli that tends to be a little bit cuter, at least visually. Now Princess Mononoke is in this Japanese semi-fantastic world, and you have yokai, you have this idea of corruption of like the souls of animals and etc. You have all those fantastic creatures, not just yokai, but like wolves and boars and all of this, and humans are fighting. It's such a brilliant movie, and even though obviously it can feel like a young adult type of movie, it's action-packed. It's quite brutal, like I said, visually, but also mentally sometimes. And I think this is the tone you will find in Blood of the Kami. So earlier I mentioned that Blood of the Kami is like The Witcher meets Spirited Away, and it's not exactly correct because The Witcher is more adult than Blood of the Kami, and Spirited Away is not adult enough. But if you take Princess Mononoke, you find this perfect level that matches Blood of the Kami in terms of maturity and the kind of violence you can find in this book. So there you go, I threw a lot of different manga and anime from like Naruto, Demon Slayer, then the GBD with Pompoko and Princess Mononoke, and all of this together gives you an idea of what you could find in Blood of the Kami. In the next video I will discuss the inspirations from novels, TV shows and games. So I'll see you then, like tomorrow. Cheers!